Hello sports fans and welcome to another Face to Facts Sports Minute. If you're a fan of Boston sports, now is the time to really be following your teams. We're going to start today with the Boston Bruins. The Bruins right now are in their quest for another Stanley Cup. The Bruins just wrapped up a fantastic series that they just had against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Went 7 games. Bruins are able to get that Game 7 win and advance to the next round where they'll be playing now the Columbus Blue Jackets. They already have a 1-0 lead. They need 3 more wins to advance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Tuukka is one of the most important players to the Bruins in this playoffs. As you can remember back in 2011 with Tim Thomas helped the Bruins in many ways win that Stanley Cup. So if the Bruins want the cup, Tuukka's got to be playing at a high caliber level like he can. Some other players that you want to also take a look at from this postseason are some of the acquisitions that came during the trade deadline. Charlie Coyle has been one of the best additions to this team. Bruins gave up a lot in Ryan Donato, but so far, Charlie Coyle has been a big difference maker with the Bruins. I want to see a little bit more out of the top line, and that's Bergeron, Marchand, and Pastrnak. From looking at the game so far, it looks like they're not jiving well together, or they're not on the same page. You might see Bruce Cassidy mix the lines up a little bit, but if the Bruins do want to go far in this Stanley Cup playoff and win, they're going to need their top line to perform. So again, we're already in round 2. The Bruins are facing the Columbus Blue Jackets. I want to also take a look around the rest of the NHL as well. Also in our Eastern Conference, we have the New York Islanders, who are now going to be facing off against the Carolina Hurricanes. The Washington Capitals were eliminated in their last playoff series, so the Capitals are gone. We also know that the best team in hockey, which was the Tampa Bay Lightning, are also eliminated. So right now in the Eastern Conference, once again, we have the Boston Bruins and we have the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then we have the Carolina Hurricanes and we have the New York Islanders. What are my predictions? Well, my prediction right now, it looks like it's going to be the Bruins and the Islanders. Will the Bruins be able to get to the Stanley Cup? Well, my guess right now is that that's a yes. In the Western Conference in the NHL, you also have 2 series going on. You have the Sharks and the Avalanche, and you have the Stars and the Blues. From those 4 teams that are facing off against each other, I'm looking at the Blues being victorious in their series, and then I'm also looking at the Sharks being victorious in theirs. My NHL Stanley Cup Finals. What I think is going to happen, you'll see the Boston Bruins and the St. Louis Blues. I think it's going to be one heck of a series. Right now, I have to tell you, I'm looking at the Boston Bruins as being your Stanley Cup champions for the 2018-19 season. If you're a fan of the Celtics, you're also in luck because the Celtics are also in round 2 in the NBA playoffs. They'll be facing off against the Milwaukee Bucks. If you remember last year, the Celtics played the Bucks, and they were victorious in 7 games. But they have to be careful of Giannis Antetokounmpo because he's one of the better players in the NBA. So the Celtics need to figure out what their game plan is going to be in this best-of-7 series. The Celtics had a very good series against the Indiana Pacers to lead off the NBA playoffs right there, and they won 4 games in a row to get to the point where they are right now. So I want to wish the Boston Celtics the best of luck in this round 2. It's going to get tougher as it goes on because the other series happening in the Eastern Conference is the Toronto Raptors and the Philadelphia 76ers. I think the Raptors will get out of that series right there. We may be looking at a Boston and Toronto Eastern Conference Finals. In the Western Conference, you still have a couple of teams that are battling out in Game 7s or 6s right now. So we really don't have a general idea of what's going to happen out in the Western part yet, but we do know that the Houston Rockets so far will be advancing into round 2. Changing gears right now, we're going to talk about the Boston Red Sox. And many of you know I'm a big fan of baseball and a big fan of the Red Sox. And unfortunately, it's been a very disappointing start to the season. I know it's April. Everybody keeps telling me it's April. But you got to win these ball games as well. See, one of the things that I think we're so spoiled about as Boston sports fans is we expect to win every game. I don't expect that all the time, but when it gets sloppy and it gets out of hand, then it gets a little frustrating. I actually was able to take in one of the Red Sox games earlier this week, and I wasn't very impressed with what I saw. I saw a team that looks like they're asleep. They have no urgency. They have no desire to win. And that's got to change. You know, it starts at the top from Alex Cora as your manager, and it seems like he's been sleepwalking and having his players not really as prepared as they were from last year. A lot of people have also had something to say about spring training from last year, and the Red Sox had a great spring last year. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't, but when you get off to the wrong start, it can really affect you as your season goes on. Some other things that I looked at from the Red Sox include our pitching. Okay, our starting pitching has been absolutely disgraceful, embarrassing, really not good at all the start of the season. Did it have something to do with the catchers? Well, one of your blame pieces, Blake Swihart, is no longer on the team, so they brought back Sandy Leone. Is he the big difference maker? I don't think so, but let's see how the team does in the next month before we really want to figure out if they're playoff caliber, World Series caliber, or if this is just going to be a lost season. The other thing I'm also concerned with the Red Sox is their bullpen. They lost two big guys from last year, one of them which is Craig Kimbrell, still a free agent, still should be on the team. Hopefully the Red Sox will sign him and figure out what they'd like to do with that. You also have Joe Kelly, who's no longer there. He's pitching for the Dodgers, and he's actually not pitching that great. What are they going to do with the bullpen? Well, you don't really have that many answers in Pawtucket at the minor league level, so you're going to have to get something from within. You're going to have to get better performances. Will that happen? Well, we'll have to take a look at that in the next couple weeks to determine that. One of the bright spots that the Red Sox do have right now is they called up one of their top prospects. His name is Michael Chavez. He'll be at third base, second base, probably a little bit of outfield. He's been swinging the bat well, and I hope that continues because it looks like he's a little bit of the spark that the Red Sox needed. This actually could be a very important draft for the New England Patriots. We're going to talk about them just for a brief moment because the Patriots are missing some key players that could come from within in this NFL draft. Round one was earlier this week for the Patriots, and the Patriots are able to select their pick at number 32, and his name is N'Keal Harry. He came from Arizona State, and he's a wide receiver. So that could help fill one of the voids that's lost at that position for the Patriots. We'll see how he looks, but right now it looks like that's a very solid pick. And it was the first time in 20 years that the Patriots selected a wide receiver as their number one pick. The Patriots have more work to do in round 2 and 3. They have 2 picks in round 2, and they have 3 picks to go in round 3. So filling some voids will be a very important thing for the Patriots. You're going to have to take a look and see if they get a quarterback, if they get a tight end, because you know Gronk's not going to be there. So you got to figure out that answer too. We covered a lot here on this Sports Minute. If you're a big fan of the playoffs, this is your time to be a great Boston sports fan. There's a lot of things that are happening. We want to wish the Bruins and the Celtics the best of luck in those playoffs, and we will see you next time here on another Sports Minute. I'm Nick Face. We'll see you next time.